Welcome Earth Watchers to your News Weekly Space Journal.
And these are the stories we're transmitting for you, today.
On the newly discovered planet Earth.
Nostrodamus Quote. He will think like Genghis Khan. North Korea's nuclear capabilities are now so advanced that a top United States official claims the threat Pyongyang poses keeps him awake at night. The hermit state is now able to launch a devastating nuclear weapon on a missile, a United States defense official has warned. The United States surveillance of Pyongyang has been cranked up since North Korea carried out its fifth nuclear test in September, triggering a 5.3 magnitude earthquake. The defense official said, "It is the threat that keeps me awake at night." We've heard other senior leaders say the same thing, primarily because we don't know what the dear leader in North Korea really is after. The official added, "Truthfully, they have the capability right now to be able to deliver a nuclear weapon, they are just not sure about re-entry. That's why they continue to test their systems out there."
Terror networks such as the Islamic State group are evolving their tactics to attack soft targets in Europe, which could see the use of deadly car bombs, Europol warned on Friday. Attacks on EU member states have not yet involved the use of homemade, commercial or military explosives in vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices as in Syria or Iraq, Europe's police agency said in a report issued in The Hague. But given the fact that the techniques used in Middle Eastern countries tend to be copied by terrorists operating in Europe, it is conceivable that jihadist groups will use this means at some stage.
Scientists who assess the planet's health see indisputable evidence that Earth has been getting warmer, in some cases rapidly. Most believe that human activity, in particular the burning of fossil fuels and the resulting buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, have influenced this warming trend. As man's insatiable greed for stuff has been growing in the past decade. Scientists have documented record-high average annual surface temperatures and have been observing other signs of change all over the planet, in the distribution of ice, and in the salinity, levels, and temperatures of the oceans. "This glacier used to be closer," declares this polar bear.
Any socialist candidate will get knocked out in the first, decisive round of next year's French presidential election, a shock BVA Salesforce poll published today reveals. The poll suggests that it is right-wing Les Républicains candidate François Fillon, a self-confessed Thatcherite, who is to face the leader of the Eurosceptic National Front Party, Marine Le Pen, in the second-round runoff next spring. The poll, which was commissioned by the telecom company Orange, also revealed that if former Prime Minister Manuel Valls wins the upcoming socialist primaries, he will struggle to gather more than 21% of votes in the first round of the election, compared to 26% for Ms. Le Pen and 29% for Mr. Fillon. If, somehow, the top three left-wing candidates Mr. Valls, former Economy Minister Emmanuel Macron, and radical leftist Jean-Luc Mélenchon go head-to-head in the first round of the elections, which is due to take place on April the 23rd, François Hollande's former Prime Minister will get 13% of votes, and his two rivals 14%.
Russia develops new type of nuclear missile. Russia is developing devastating hypersonic weapons capable of dramatically blowing away any response by the West, a senior scientist at the United States Air Force has warned. Vladimir Putin is in the process of producing powerful hypersonic missiles capable of reaching Britain in just 13 minutes, according to the United States Air Force report. Unlike regular nuclear weapons, hypersonic missiles can travel at 5 times the speed of sound, and can evade detection by skirting the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. Is California, known as the Golden State, turning into the arid state? As the lingering drought in California has killed more than 100 million trees, according to the United States Forest Service's latest aerial survey. The recent death count found that 62 million trees have died just this year in California, bringing the 6-year total to more than 102 million. More than 5 years of drought are to blame for the tree deaths, scientists said, adding that tree fatalities increased by 100% in 2016. While die-off is expected under drought conditions, the rate of the forest's death is faster than scientists expected, according to United States Forest Service USFS officials. The agency said that millions of additional trees are expected to die in the coming months and years. California's drought has affected 7.7 million acres of forests, putting the region's whole ecology at risk, the scientists said.
Welcome Earth Watchers to Bizarre Corner. Hello. I'm Adelphia. And these are the stories I'm transmitting for you, today. Egypt's health ministry has uncovered an illicit human organ trade in which migrants are selling body parts to reach Europe. 45 doctors, nurses, middlemen and organ buyers have been arrested for their alleged parts in the human harvest. Unconfirmed reports suggest organ traders are targeting African migrants desperate for money to pay their way into Europe on rickety boats. According to Dutch media advisors from the Anti-Discrimination Bureau Mind, said that, while homophobic abuse was usually a crime, it was justifiable if you were Muslim due to laws on freedom of religious expression. They argued that the Quran says it is acceptable to kill people for being homosexual, and so death threats towards gay people from Muslims could not be discriminatory. In a jaw-dropping email explaining why they could not take up the complaint, they wrote, "The remarks must be seen in the context of religious beliefs in Islam, which juridically takes away the insulting character."
The Russian military will equip its tanks with advanced reconnaissance drones capable of circling up to 100 meters in the air and operating indefinitely. The pterodactyl drones expected to give Russian tanks the ability to scan up to 10 kilometers from their position, which will boost Russian ground forces' capabilities as the military bolsters its presence on Europe's borders. The drones will be attached via cable to Russia's Armata tanks, and will greatly increase the distance at which they can identify targets. Reports claim the drones will be able to ascend tens of meters and keep up with tanks moving at high speeds. And the new military tech will be fitted with thermal night vision equipment and radar capabilities. This comes as tensions between Russia and Ukraine once again begin to rise, after the latter yesterday began 2 days of missile tests over Crimean waters.
Riisi loses referendum. The Prime Minister conceded defeat in an emotional speech at his residence, and said he would submit his resignation to Italy's President, Sergio Mattarella, on Monday afternoon. The outcome was a major victory for the populist Five Star Movement, which led opposition to the reform, and the xenophobic Northern League. The parties are not traditional allies but locked arms to take on Riisi in the hope now realized of driving him out of office. Weeks ago both party leaders, Beppe Grillo and Matteo Salvini, were exuberant in the face of Donald Trump's victory in the United States, with Grillo claiming it represented a big fuck you to the political establishment. Is Obama seeking to invade Syria before Trump's presidency? As Erdogan pushes Turkish troops into Syria, a very dangerous situation begins to develop. Turkey, a NATO member, would come nose to nose with Russia and Iran, who is currently arming Hezbollah to come up against Israel. This could split NATO as the United States is sworn to protect the Jewish state, leaving Turkey to defend itself against Putin's Russia. Obama sees that this is his final opportunity to use NATO as a force to complete his ambition to rid himself of Assad, and plunge the world into war before NATO collapses under a Trump presidency.
Welcome to Concept News. For your weekly world roundup. Transmitted from the planet, Sadu. Watching you, with your Android host, Adelphia.